Hi there, my name is Zara Andrews, and we're going to be looking at Black Butler today to see how historically accurate it is, which I'm sure it will be very historically accurate. So I want to just look at the Ciels, the several different videos, because I've done a lot of research into it. I basically want to look at it from a historical point of view and just see how historically accurate it is. My background is I actually have studied history. I've got a bachelor's in it. I'm on a leave of absence from a master's. I basically like to look at anything to do with history, look at a film that has the historical drama in, or a manga, as this case is, or a TV show, and destroy it for myself and see how historically accurate it is, and be like, well, this is completely wrong, and this is completely wrong, and this is completely wrong. I've wrote a fuck ton on this. I've got 35 pages of notes, so it's going to be a lot of videos. It's going to be 2 different things talking about, because I just ended up getting so much invested into researching it. I've also got massive Excel stuff, and I've collected so much information for this. Oh yeah, it was a lot of work. I've done 3 weeks of research, and then also have to be looking for jobs at the same time. So yeah, it was a nightmare. Yeah, so today we're going to be just looking at the Ciels. Mainly this video is going to be just talking about the summary and overall what I've been doing, what I've been researching. It's just going to be like a starter. The second video will be probably the one where we talk a lot more in depth about everything, and I actually give my views. And then the third video is going to be talking about Second Sons and looking at how accurate that is. So before I get into this, I'm going to say it's going to be major spoilers ahead, because it's just a massive spoiler to start off with. But what is Black Butler? It is a manga and anime. The anime of Black Butler had seasons 1 and 2. It's also got, I think it's got season 3 and 4 as well now. But they're weird ones where they just kind of go into one investigation, and it's a very big investigation. The first and second season were originally ran from 2008 to 2010, and then Book of Circus, which is the third season, that ran in 2014. The fourth season, Book of Murder, ran in 2014 as well. The manga is currently 29 volumes long, and it started in 2006. It's still running today. There's an extra volume actually available in Japanese. I won't be mentioning that at all. Yes, because I can't read Japanese, as I have previously stated in other videos. So I'm going to just give an overview of what the Black Butler is and the CL characters. The manga begins with Ciel, the Earl of Phantom Hive, who was 13 years old. His family is known as the Queen's Watchdog, and he has to solve the crimes of London's underworld. Ciel is helped by his butler Sebastian, who it turns out is a demon, who he forms a contract with in order to get revenge on those who tortured him and killed his parents. His parents are called Rachel and Vincent. They died in a fire, and then he was taken away with his twin brother and they were tortured, and then his brother was killed in a sacrifice. During the manga, we learn that Ciel is not actually Ciel, but took the name of his older twin when they died. The Ciel who is still alive will be known as Other Ciel for the rest of this video, and his dead older brother will be known as the real Ciel, just to make it easier. I know it's not easy because there's 2 Ciels and it's just a bit crazy. The real Ciel is the original fiance of Elizabeth Midford. As the eldest son, he was his father's heir and was expected to eventually succeed him as the Earl of Phantom Hive. Likely not as early as he did. And he was also expected to succeed as the Queen's Watchdog as well. To prepare him for his future duties, he was received special lessons, including fencing from his aunt, Frances Midford. His younger twin brother, in comparison, was very sick because he inherited his mother's asthma, and so he was not able to leave the house as much. Consequently, very few people actually knew that the real Ciel had a younger twin brother. When the other Ciel comes back, they don't even realise it's he's actually the younger twin. The real Ciel is very possessive over his younger brother, and when he learns that other Ciel wants to actually run a toy company when he's older. He refuses to like become ill when he's older, and just wants to run off to join him in this toy company. I apologise, you might hear my dog. She's just scratching at the moment. However, the real Ciel is forced by his parents to accept that he's going to have to become ill, even if he doesn't really want to, because he's got to like keep up the family business. The real Ciel was actually killed in a ritual sacrifice to summon a demon. The sacrifice was actually successful, and it actually led to the calling of Sebastian, who then, on the order of the other Ciel, murdered everyone there. The real Ciel's body was then rescued by the Undertaker, who was a Grim Reaper, and turned into a bizarre doll, which the Undertaker perfected over 3 years. A bizarre doll is it's a walking corpse, basically. The real Ciel can still think for his own thoughts and everything, but he's basically he's like always running out of time because he's gonna die at some point because his body's decomposing. When the real Ciel returns to the manor after 3 years, he attacks Agni and Soma. They're good friends of the other Ciel by this point. He attacks them because he sees Soma as a replacement for him. That basically the other Ciel made Soma a replacement as a brother, and he's really angry about it, and he decides to just kill him. Except from Agni gets in the way and locks Soma in a room, and so then Agni basically is killed on the other side. The real Ciel actually ends up taking back the manor, and he seizes the Fountain Company, which was set up in his name, so his younger brother can't actually claim that it's his. And he forces out his younger brother, and they're basically scheming against each other, and the other Ciel's trying to get his position back. And then also the real Ciel's like, oh, this is all good fun, and not really taking anything seriously. Yeah. So he's a bit of a dick. So this whole manga is set up during the Victorian period, which dates between 1837 and 1901. To make everything easier, I just researched the whole of the 1800s, which means that I've got like 37 extra years of information. My main focus when researching was I wanted to find out if the name Ciel would actually be used by an earl who was in the Victorian period, because I was like, I don't think that's meant to be used in the Victorian period. I wanted to see basically also what kind of, if it's not historically accurate, what names were and what name would be ideal for him. I also talk about in this while I'm researching, I talk about like other stuff as well, so I don't just focus on his name, because I found out a load of other stuff and I was like, well, we'll just add this into the talk and discussion in the script. So to begin my investigation, I noted down all of the earldoms that were active in the 1800s. It might not be completely accurate. I did get like 25 of them, but I think there might be more. I'm not sure. I did all of the ones specifically in England, so I didn't do any of the ones for Wales, Scotland or Ireland. I apologize to all of you. I just wanted to get the ones that were in England, because the earldom of Phantom Hive seems to be relatively close to London, because Ciel goes to London all the time. So I was like, okay, it's obviously in London. It's not in Wales or anything. So I just decided to look at all the earldoms of England for that reason. So the earldoms I looked at are Shrewsbury, Derby, Huntingdon, Pembroke, Devon, Lincoln, Suffolk, Montgomery, Denburg, Berkshire, Lindsay, Winchelsea, Sandwich, Essex, Carlisle, Shaftesbury, Abingdon, Portland, Scarborough, Albemarle, Coventry, Jersey, Berkeley, Arlington, and Chester. Yeah, so I looked at a fuck ton. I probably mispronounced some of those, even though I'm English, because I just don't understand how to pronounce them sometimes. So I basically looked at a total of 25 earldoms that were all active during the 1800s. I think I might have missed some. I'm not completely sure. There are some that are just decorative positions, so I didn't really look at those because I didn't see the point, because they didn't actually have lands and stuff. Although the earldom of Phantom Hive does look like it might be a decorative position, because he does only have a small bit of land. And yeah, I haven't really seen much of his lands, basically. And I use Wikipedia a lot. I use Wikipedia a fuck ton, so yeah, it definitely isn't going to be fully accurate. because there might be wrong names and everything, and wrong years and everything, and oh, yes, and I've also, my calculation's going to be wrong sometimes. I actually got all of the names from the earldoms, all 25 earldoms, like all of the earls that had been earl up until the point of 1800s, and like until the 1900. So like some of them were all the way from Norman Conquest all the way to 1900, and they have like they're recreated at certain points. So they stop being in existence and then they're recreated. And I decided to just have all the other creations as well in my list to just get a general idea of what were the most popular names in the earldoms in general. Just in overall. Like, it might not be the same family that's got the earldom, but like I wanted to just see a general idea of what were the popular names. Found out through this, I made a graph. It might come up, I don't know. So if you can see the graph, you will see that Charles, Edward, George, Henry, John, Thomas, and William were all very popular. Whilst making this, I was actually struck by some particularly strange names, which made me think actually that Ciel might be like a name that a earl might use. In particular, Aldred, Algernon, Basil, Bertram, Cropley, Guichard, Hawes, Henneage, at Mid-May, and Willoughby. All stood out as very strange names to me. Some of them turned out to actually be Victorian names, and I just didn't know that. But yeah, just on a side note, while I was also making this bar chart, I sorted out the percentage of how many men and women became earls. I was expecting a very high percentage of males, because I understand primogeniture. Primogeniture is the rule of succession. Basically, the eldest son always inherits the land, and women can't inherit. Sometimes there are rules when they are allowed to inherit, like when there's just no one else. But they have to be married to be able to gain that land. According to my data, 98% of the earls were male, which was completely understandable. But I was very surprised there were actually 2% that were female, and I was like, oh, well, this is quite interesting. So that is a total of 424 males and 9 females. Yeah, so I would be quite interested to know how those 9 females actually got their thing. Just as like a side interest, you know, while I'm looking through all of this. From a manga point of view, from the Black Butler point of view, this graph does actually show that the Ciels, both of them, it was historically accurate that they were both males when they inherited the earldom, because there were so many males that did inherit. After I looked at this data, I then also thought, like, I need to look at more into the period, so the 1800s, and I was like, okay then, I need to actually start looking at the actual people that were in the 1800s. So I used that list, brought it over to another page, and was like, okay, let's start looking at the actual individuals that were earls in the 1800s. This is the end of the video. So far, it's looking quite good for Ciel, even though we just looked at one thing. It's looking good in terms of historical accuracy, because he is a male, obviously. In the next video, I'm going to basically keep discussing, like, I'm actually going to go into the 1800s and look at them, discuss the actual earls that were around in the 1800s in England, and have a bit of more focus on them. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.